So this is the map of 2020 for the presidential election. Trump got 235 electoral vote, Democrats 303. So if you look at the yellow circles, if we in 2024 can flip those states, that's 35 votes. That will give us the path to victory to 270. So as you can see, this is where both parties' efforts are in terms of where they're putting their money. In Pennsylvania, as of today, from March 2024 to today, they spent $109 million. Republican Trump, 102. And then in Georgia, 58. And then Trump, 29. In South Carolina, as of today, nada. So that's where the battle is going to be fought in 2024. That's why Georgia is so critical. And this is what happened in 2020. You can see in South Carolina, this is our map of 2020 election, and this is Georgia. You would think that actually Georgia is redder than South Carolina, given that there are so many red areas in Georgia. So in terms of data, South Carolina, we have 46 counties, and Trump won 33. That's 72% of counties Trump won in 2020. In Georgia, Trump won 129 counties out of 159. So actually, Trump won 81% of the counties in Georgia. However, Trump won more than 300,000 votes in South Carolina, but lost by 12,000 votes in Georgia. So, in terms of...
Lost is in quotations.
I know, right? So, in terms of, again, just comparing turnouts, I just look at the top 20 counties. I have to say, both South Carolina and Georgia, our data, election statistics are miserable. So it is really hard to dig into those numbers. But anyway, and then if you look at the general turnouts, Trump lost in Georgia, not because of turnout, right? So we have average in South Carolina at 72%, in Georgia it's roughly 72%. And the top 20 counties contribute 82% of total ballots in South Carolina. That makes sense, right? Because we only have 46 counties. Whereas Georgia, they have 159 counties, but then the 20 counties, they contribute 63% of the ballots. So this is where one of the differences you can see. The top 20 counties in South Carolina, Trump won 16 counties, whereas Biden won 4, including obviously number 1 will be Charleston in our district. And then in Georgia, the top 20 counties, Trump won 9 out of, Biden won 11 out of 20, Trump won 9 out of the 20. So if you look at, actually, interestingly, if you look at the turnout rate, right, this is the state average, the blue counties, that's where votes went to Biden, had lower turnout rates. So Brittany, maybe it would be interesting looking into that data. Is it because blue, so a lot of Republicans didn't bother to show up? Or is just people are not as active in those blue counties? So it seems like if it's in first case, then it seems like there would be more room to grow for Republicans to bump up those average voting rates, turnout rate. And so what exactly destroyed Georgia? I thought about 3 things. First is Georgia started automatic voter registration. Does anybody know what automatic voter registration is? So basically, if you get your driver's license or ID, you're automatically registered, regardless if you want it or not. In South Carolina, we don't have automatic voter registration. So you can see, before 2016, before automatic voter registration, the total registration rate is 78% in Georgia. In 2020, it becomes 92%. And South Carolina is roughly 70 to 80%. The reason that this makes a huge difference in 2020 is because you can look at the growth of registration Black population, Latino population, their registration rates went up tremendously. The next slide, you will see why is this so critical, because these are the populations or demographics tend to vote Democratic instead of Republican. So that's one of the reasons I think that it's also easier once everybody's registered, it's easier to get them to vote or using mail-in ballots. And the second reason, second reason is because who remembers the consent decree in Georgia in 2020? So good, Millen. So basically, Democrats, including Mark Elias, who was the attorney for Clinton, Hillary Clinton, he started this national effort targeting dozens or so swing states, making last-minute changes of election laws. So one of the consent decrees in Georgia is they're putting drop boxes, and they're allowing mail-in ballots, mass mail of mail-in ballots, and also obviously there's private money come in. We all So we all know the Zuckerberg situation, right? Zuckerberg spent more than $50 million in Georgia. And then the Foundation for Government Accountability report says 75% of Zuckerberg money received counties saw a significant uptick in Democrat votes. So those three reasons combined, that's really what, in our minds, screwed up Georgia. In particular, if you look at the mail-in ballot numbers, right? So in 2016, before the consent decree, the mail-in ballots in Georgia is 220,000 votes. So that's typical, 220,000 million. In 2020, it's 1.3 million. That's a substantial increase. And then you can see that how many went to Biden and how many went to Trump. So not only that, because mail-in ballots in 2020, they were using signature to register, to compare mail-in ballots versus voter signature. But as we know, once you have 1.3 million mail-in ballots coming, there's no possibility to verify signatures. So the rejection rate in 2020 is 0.3% versus a typical year is 3.5%. That's purely because the sheer volume that it made it impossible to change anything. So this is another example to say the first part, right? We talked about automatic voter registration as a result. So this is Georgia. This is by race in Georgia. Voter registration, Black population in Georgia is 30%. In South Carolina, it's 26%. So it's not much difference in terms of Black voters in both states in terms of percentage of total votes registered. Hey, Sherry and John Z, I thought the club rules is that you're not supposed to videotape and posting stuff on social media. So can you please make sure that some people please delete your, I'm more than happy to send.
According to, we have to follow the BCRP rules also. Lauren, please quit videotaping.